That emotional wellness, the process of emotional wellness is a daily, hourly thing. Because
Wow,
you can
hourly.
feel, yes, you can be feeling great. I can be feeling great and, on the way to the studio, and then there was a big wreck, and it just threw me. And I was like, well, this is going to make me, I don't like to be late. I'm going to have to reroute and recalibrate. And I talk about that in the book, how we have to recalibrate so often in our lives. So when I wake up, I tell myself this is going to be the best day ever, first of all, because you have to say that, you have to believe it, put it out there. Because most people wake up, oh, it's another day. I'm so tired. Here's Monday. Oh, no. Well, then, of course, that's where your mind is, and you're going to behave in that manner. But when I come up against stuff, which I do even more often than people, because when you're out here giving a message, you are put through the test of, do you really believe what you say? People can tell if you're genuine and if you believe what you say, or if you're just a talking head. Well, God has put me through so much so that I know when I'm going, I stop, I take a breath, and I do exactly what I have told everybody else to do. I said, now, you're going to have to acknowledge your emotions. Why do you feel this way? Let's go through this process. Okay, yes, do you have a right to? Can you do something about it? I take myself through those steps
Wow.
all the time. And it's
Wow.
always something coming up. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. And actually, even yesterday, I did something professionally, and, something didn't go so right. The people kind of messed it up. And, I knew I needed to have a conversation with them. But yesterday was not the day to have it because I
Right.
had emotions involved. And I said, once I go to sleep and I wake up, the day will be refreshed.
Right.
And your counter sets to 0 every day. So this is a new day. So I am going to have the conversation with them today when it's not so emotional, and I can just be logical in my conversation and say, this happened, and this should not have happened. So what do we do about this next time? So
Right.
again, removing the emotions and the feelings, because our feelings are all over the place. And you
Right.
know that as a woman, we can have feelings all over the place.
Right,
Yes.
right. I do try to keep mine personally in check. And so I'm known as the ice queen. But, I've seen what emotional women look like. Super emotional, medium, but
Yes.
I definitely try to keep a control on myself. Occasionally when things have escalated to a point of no return, there is a different side of me that comes out. But for the most part, I think I'm balanced.
Yeah. Well, but to that point, oftentimes when women don't have the emotions that people expect we should have,
Right.
then you said ice queen, but it's not. It's really just managing your emotions, because if you look like you're not bothered, then people are like, well, where's your emotions? Do you not have any? And I've even had men to say, what's the deal? You don't have emotions, do you? I'm like, look, I just understand how to manage that, and I'm not gonna get all, disturbed about certain
Right. I
things.
get that from males, females,
Yes.
my kids,
Yes. Yes.
everybody. So, and that's who I am. I don't
Yes.
know how to change, all of that, but I do try to keep my emotions in check.
That's
I
good.
really, really
That's
do.
good.
I'm not a big crier. I'm not, I'm not a big yeller unless something
Yeah.
is going on. It's like, this is the way it is, and this is what we're going to do.
Right.
And even when I'm upset about things, I feel like I have to be that person that's maintaining some control. So I don't
Yeah.
know what it comes
Yeah,
from.
well,
but
that's
yeah.
good, because most people don't have that. So that's good. But I do want to say it's okay to cry. Crying and tears heal us.
Okay.
And so that's why God put them here. And I tell that to men all the time. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. So I'll give myself some moments to cry. And I'm like, okay, girl, you done? Come on, let's get to the solution. I do that with my kids too. So I'm like,
Right,
okay, go ahead
right.
and cry.
Get it over.
But now we're going to talk about the solution. I'm going to give you a few minutes. So yeah, you have to get it out.
together. Right. So, what is the one thing that everybody needs to know that's the key to an amazing life?
I believe the one thing is that you are in really pretty much control of your life and your destiny. Now people go, how in the world? You truly are. We've been given a free will, and we get to make decisions and choices with our lives every day.
Right.
When people can feel like that they are empowered in their own life, that's why it talks about being in the driver's seat. You are driving your life. Nobody else is. people get that and understand that, then they can say, okay, it helps them take responsibilities for your choices. Because when you're driving, you have to take responsibility for being in the car. You have to take responsibility for your life. If you
Yes.
change this lane, if you went this direction, if you went the wrong way, if it's some things you can't control, construction, the wreck that was happening, can't
Right.
control it. But guess what I did? I said, I need to go another route. Let me back up. I almost was having a wreck trying to get off, but like, oop, don't get off, keep going. So when people can understand they're in full control, and 75 to 90% of all your sickness and disease start with emotions and stress. So when people understand that you're in control of your health as well, all of the diseases and stuff, not all of them, but for the most part, the majority, it's because of your emotions and stress, and
Wow.
it's housed in your body, and you control that. That makes people powerful. When you're talking about having a superpower, that helps people to know, you know what, I can do something different with my life. It's not my mama's fault, my daddy's fault, whoever my boss had fired. It's not their
Right.
fault, you know?
Right.
It's
Right.
mine.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And, and I know I stated that I was known as the ice queen in my emotions low, but I will speak to my health. It's excellent. I'm
It's
not
great.
on blood pressure medicine. I'm not on
Yes.
any cardiac medications. I don't have any long-standing illnesses. My worst thing would be sinuses, that I have, and those are seasonal. So
Yeah, can't
I
control-
am
yeah.
blessed. And maybe that's the key. Maybe it is based on what you
It
say.
is. It is so much of the key.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's talk about your international podcast that you host, Single Life with Dr. G, Dating Over 40. I'm newly single myself, so I'm definitely tuned in closely to what you have to say here. What inspired your podcast?
Well, the podcast actually came from the book that I wrote called The Power of Attraction, Getting the Man You Need, Not Want. And yeah, the one you need, not
That's
the one
powerful.
you want. And so actually it was a course first. I created this course because so many women, I was just seeing it here out in the single world. And I've been
Right.
out here for 11 years. And I was finding, so I wasn't trying to be married or in a relationship. I was, tied down for a long time. So here I was just out here wanting to have a good time. But I saw that so many women were wanting to be married in a relationship, and it just wasn't happening. And I'm going, they're beautiful, they're successful, what's going on?
Right.
And the more I worked with women, the more I knew that it was something inside themselves, and it's the energy and everything they're putting out. So I created a course. And a colleague of mine said, hey, you need to write a book with that because the women will get the book first before they take the course.
Right.
So I wrote the book, and then sprung from there all types of events and everything. And when we got shut down in COVID last year, it was like, okay, well, how do you still reach your people? You can't do all these events. So that's when I said, and people have been asking me to do podcasts for 2 years. And I was like, oh, no, I did a radio show. I did do TV stuff. And I just thought it was so simple. We're at home. Let me do this podcast. And so what do I call it? I could talk about so many things as you were talking about, success begins with the mind, the marriage. I could talk about so many things. And I said, what is that thing? And it's
Right.
like the Single Life with Dr. G, Dating Over 40. So it has been a tremendous ride. We're now in 57 countries and over 1,000 cities.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
so, yeah,
Congratulations.
we are just, people are hungry
Right.
for information. They're hungry for something that will help them